So crime in Las Vegas is up. It's up worse than it's probably ever been in just a year over end period. And I've been trying to figure out why that might be. Recently, Metro has launched a brand new program to get down to the Strip, similar to Operation Persistent Presence last year. But we got some crime, and it's a problem. It's a big problem. And so we have another 2-month program to try to get the bad guys under wraps in Las Vegas and try to mitigate the problem. But the question is, how did we even get here to start with? And I'm going to throw out a theory that I just came up with about 10 minutes ago that might actually make a lot of sense. So if you're coming here and you want to know if it's going to be safe, watch this video because I think it's going to kind of help you understand the risks you run in coming to Las Vegas and what the police are trying to do about it. Why is there a mobile command center on the Strip that we've seen several times over the last few live streams we've done on Las Vegas Boulevard? It's usually right in front of the Bellagio. How's it going, everybody? My name is Steven, and I am not leaving Las Vegas. I'm a Vegas blogger. I hope you guys would like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications if you guys want to do that, and make sure you leave us a comment below. Have you been to Vegas recently, and do you feel safe? Or just based on the live streams that you've seen on my channel and other channels, are you planning on coming, or are you planning on staying away because you see this police presence? We're going to talk about the police presence as well. As always, doing those free things helps a lot. We're almost at 50% threshold for people who are watching this channel, who like this channel, who are actually subscribed. So if you guys really want to help, let's push it up to like 55% of all of my viewers are actually regularly subscribed to the channel. That would be very, very keen like a lima bean. Peachy keen like a lima bean. How's that go? If you guys want to support us further, we have YouTube channel memberships. We also have Patreon. We also have VegasFaceMask.com. No S at the end. The Knights can actually clinch their division tonight if they win against the Colorado Avalanche, tonight being May 10th of 2021. But you guys can go ahead to VegasFaceMask.com. We have 60 different types or so. And click around on the site. There's lots of patterns and fabrics you guys don't see. My wife makes these by hand, all handmade, delivered directly to you. Free shipping in the United States, 2 for $25, lots of different patterns. And we ship overseas too. You guys can ship out to Europe or the EU for about 20 bucks, Canada, $15. If you're in Canada, you need a face mask because the whole country's locked down. I'm Canadian by birth. I hope you guys get this under control because I hate to see my fellow countrymen having such a hard time. All right, so what is going on with crime on the Strip? It's overboard right now. And actually, there was 1,200 arrests made last year in just a 3-month period for what Metro called Operation Persistent Presence. And then there was a news report today on KTNV, I think it was, Channel 13 here in town. They were showing that Metro was taking a ton of things, like there's certain things I can't say on YouTube, and YouTube actually listens to all of my videos. You know those little subtitles you see? We don't upload those in most cases. It just actually transcribes our words as long as we speak very clearly, so it knows what we're saying. So I'm going to say that they seized lots of arms that would be on fire. You just change the words around right there. That's a clever way of doing it. And also rugs with a D in front of it. Tons of those things, like gold-plated arms that would be on fire, like over-the-top amounts of stuff coming into the city. And has it always been like this? The first answer to that is, I don't know if it's always been like this. It could possibly have always been like this, but we never saw it because we just, we had never had a shutdown before. Now that we had a shutdown, and now that the focus has become so clear on Vegas, it's kind of like if you look at something under a microscope, you're going to see all the little details that you didn't see before. So it could have been this way, but we just never noticed because we're all living our lives and so on and so forth. But I don't think that's the case. I think it has gotten worse, and it's bizarre enough to say, but it's going to come down to cell phone service. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm king of analogies sometimes. I hope you don't mind if I give you an analogy. You see, when they shut down everything originally, 78 days of casino shutdowns in town, nobody was on the Strip. And when we stopped before the shutdown, there was no problems doing live streams on the Strip. I'm on Verizon Wireless, but whether you were on Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, it didn't really matter. You always had good service. 78 days later, your service just wasn't there. It was absolutely horrible. My theory being that the cell phone companies basically slowed down the amount of bandwidth going to the Strip because they didn't need to put it out there. And that's what happened. Okay, so now you have a lower level of service. Metro, on the other hand, didn't ever reduce their level of service per se. They didn't let people go, as far as I understand. They had some layoffs, but those were mostly part-time or community volunteers that were no longer necessary. But I think what happened was as people started to come back to Las Vegas, Metro didn't take the same attention putting other resources to other areas in the city that they didn't have to put to the Strip. And all of a sudden, there seems to be a massive amount of crime that wouldn't have happened had the shutdown never happened and had Metro taken into account that, oh my gosh, the people are back. Now we have to go back to the Strip. And that's just my theory. And before we go on further, I have to tell you, I have no problem with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Every interaction I've ever had with Metro, except for one years ago, which had nothing to do with anything. It was just one person that had a bad attitude on the force, and I won't even mention. Every single interaction I've had has been great, and for the most part, we don't have problems with Metro out here being bullies and having issues with people. You don't see us on the national news, so Metro's great out here. So I think what happens is we get to a point where if we don't flex the muscle, we lose the muscle. You know how people say, oh yeah, no, stop going to the gym and then your muscle's going to turn into fat. It's not how things work. Muscle doesn't turn into fat. The muscle cells just get a little bit atrophied and they shrink away a little bit. And I think that's what happens if you don't show your force, if you don't have a presence out there. So the bad guys say, hey, guess what? There's no Metro on the Strip. Let's go do all sorts of nefarious stuff in Las Vegas. We've been pent up here wherever we are, be it California, Arizona, Texas, Utah, all sorts of states that are easy to drive to from Las Vegas. So they come into town and they do their dirty deeds. They do them. They're done dirt cheap. Yes, I had to drop an AC/DC reference. And they come in and they realize that there's no police out here. Now, when the police put out a special task force and they say Operation Persistent Presence, they make 1,200 different arrests over the course of just a few months, the crime goes down a lot. 56% drop, as a matter of fact, of crimes on the Strip between September, October, November into January of 2021. So now we have another kind of force going out there. It's a 2-month force. You're going to see them out here. You're going to see them on the Strip. They're going to be making random stops, but they're not looking for trouble. Well, they are looking for trouble. They're not looking to make arrests if they don't have to. And that's the point of all this stuff, right? So I think that explains the amount of crime that you see on the Strip. That explains the amount of Metro you see on the Strip. I think that explains why you see a mobile command center, which is this giant, huge truck. It's massive. It looks like it's just a huge vehicle. They can run an entire operation out of there. And I think that's why you're seeing that right now. It's a visual deterrent, as I've said before on the live streams, as much as it is a physical one, to make sure that if the bad guys are coming in, they think twice about doing anything stupid, because they know that there's people out there that are going to stop them from doing it. Okay, I talked to a police officer the other day who told me that the reason that officers do traffic stops is solely for a show of force in a neighborhood. Traffic stops will happen, they say, especially at nighttime. You see the flashing lights. If you're a bad guy, you tend to not be a bad guy. Heck, even if you're speeding a few miles over the speed limit and you see a traffic stop, you slow down. It's that visual thing that our brains work off of, right? Makes sense, doesn't it? I think it does. So are you safe coming to Las Vegas right now? Well, you're about as safe as you've probably ever been in most cases, as long as you stay on the beaten path and as long as you don't venture off into no man's land where you don't know the area. If you can see a major casino and it's only a couple hundred yards away to the entrance, I'd say you're pretty safe. But you also have to mitigate your own risks. I see people do silly things, okay? They put those lanyards around their neck, they're see-through, they're clear, they put all their money in there, they put their ID in there, and they walk around that way. Well, you're just inviting somebody to do something silly. Or they put a giant thick wallet in their back pocket and they wear shorts, and then you can see that that's in there. You're just inviting some problems that way. And I'm not saying that victims of crime are to blame for the crimes, but I'm saying that if you take yourself out of the situation where you could be hurt or you could be a victim, then you're less likely to be a victim of a crime, if that makes sense to you. There's other things that people do here that are just kind of silly. You know, when I was working on the street doing the timeshare thing, I worked with a lot of really colorful characters who were a little more volatile than myself. You say the wrong thing to that person, he's going to try to fight you. Don't say the wrong thing to the wrong person. Be polite while you're here. Don't be a meek mouse. If somebody comes up to you and confronts you, then you feel you have to hold your ground, but don't be shooting off your mouth, because quite frankly, we wouldn't come to your hometown. I don't know, Toledo, Ohio, or Miami, Florida, or Anchorage, Alaska. I'm just naming random cities. It's a new game we play here on the channel. But I wouldn't come there and go to somebody else's neighborhood and start spouting my mouth off without taking some risks into account, right? So there is that too. So I guess it comes down to just be a human being while you come out here and be smart about what you're doing with your valuables. And just know that Metro is out there and they are trying to stop the problem. But I really do believe in my heart of hearts that part of the problem is because when everything shuts down, we divert resources from one place to another. All of a sudden, your cell phone doesn't work the way it should, and there's more crime on the strip, if that makes sense to you. Heck, you go to the gym for a year straight and you take 5 months off. Don't be complaining when your muscle turns to fat and you all of a sudden don't have the same strength that you had before. We have to keep things going. We have to keep going forward. In life, if you don't go forward, you never really stay where you are. You actually slide backwards. And that's a secret that I've learned. So that's my video today. I want to know your comments below. And that's my video, as you always say, and I'm sticking to it. Once again, my name is Steven and I am not leaving Las Vegas. If you guys say I sound sick, it's because every morning I wake up with severe allergies. It's more severe this year than it's ever been. And you know when it got more severe? After I got a Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. Okay. And I don't know if there's any kind of correlation. I'm sure that they'll tell me that that's not a side effect, but I'll tell you this, I've never had allergies this bad before in my whole life, even growing up as a young boy in Southern Ontario where there's way more pollen and way more reasons for me to have it. So there's something for you guys to consider when you make that educated choice on whether or not you get a vaccine. I can't prove it, but that's how come I sound like this oftentimes in the mornings. But now's the time of the video where I say 3, 2, 1, click. I hope you guys appreciate this video. I do appreciate you. We're going to figure out something we can give away on the live streams. That'll be fun, but I got to do it not leaving Las Vegas style. So give me some ideas, give me some thoughts. Give me some time to figure it out. Talk to Caroline, talk to some trusted people that I know on the channel. And I love you guys. And if you have a suggestion, email me, stevenj@notleavinglasvegas.com. Something I can give away that's small, that doesn't cost me $100 each time I give it out, you know, that'll be good. So give me an idea, stevenj@notleavinglasvegas.com. Help participate, help the channel grow. Now it's time of the video where we say 3, 2, 1, click. Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, and thank you guys again. Click.